Yeah.
6 foot cook in the building, baby.
6 foot cookers in the building.
Hey, cuz, show these boys
Prince,
how
you a
it's
fool
done,
for this one. You about to show these boys how it's done, you heard?
Prince the producer.
A day in the life, first give thanks and put on my chef white. No matter what these devils say, I'm living my best life. Never leave the house without my tool, that's a chef's knife. Cross me the wrong way, boy, get your neck sliced. Beef, really? Nah, there's no competition. You boys scary out here, yes, I'm real chicken. Collect deposits, take them straight to the bank. Keep talking greasy around here, end up getting your lamb shank. Boys spark cooking, everything's half-baked. I do it all from weddings, parties, to private dates, yeah. You know the model, we standing above the rest. Like Cali, we the best, feel different than come and test, yeah. You know the model, we standing above the rest.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Dressing Room Hair Spa. For a healthy hair experience conveniently located in the metro Atlanta area. Why? Because you're worth it. So please visit www.thedressingroomhairspa.com. Today on the 6 Foot Cook Radio, we're going to be talking about love and entrepreneurship. And hopefully a helpful guide to those on the entrepreneurial journey, how to deal with their spouses and loved ones. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the 6 Foot Cook, and we're in the building. That's right. Thank you for tuning in. And we're kicking off our Love and Entrepreneurship series. And I'm with one of my most favorite couples in the whole world. We got Chef Antoine and his lovely wife, Fire Artist. And hey, man, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, as always.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So, like I said, we're in the month of February. It's the month of love. So tell us a little bit about yourselves first, so we'll introduce you to the audience.
Okay. Well, I'm Farah Artist, and I'm the owner of True Joy Bakery. And we've been in business since 2016, do custom cakes and treats and all types of fun, good stuff, gourmet and stuff like that.
You gotta get some True Joy Bakery. I ain't get this beautiful body for no reason. How about you, Chef?
All right. Well, we've been up and at it with Artistic Soul Catering since 2015, so that's going on 8 years this year. Full service catering with specialties in Creole Cajun and Caribbean cuisine, but we're fully customizable. So that's what we do.
Yeah, okay, so that's what's up. So y'all been in the game for a minute. So actually, how long you guys been married?
Since 2018, so going on 5 years.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man, so it looks like you guys were already entrepreneurs, right? Before you got married.
Before we got married,
okay.
yeah.
Yes.
So tell me, how does that look? I guess, how does that look? Two entrepreneurs coming together and blending that into a relationship. Was it a struggle? Was it, you're not really sure about her yet, and she's getting in the way you go? Like, what's that look like?
Well, it's a lot of work because Antoine started Artistic Soul Catering first, so I was there, helping him out, work and over grease type stuff, some admin stuff, and then Antoine encouraged me to leave my corporate position and start the baking business.
Okay.
And so then he was there helping me out, like making cupcakes and all types of crazy stuff, but definitely staying busy. And a lot of our dates, I would say, at some point was us working together.
Right.
So I would definitely say a lot of hands-on.
So people don't understand that though, right? Like you said, a lot of your dates were, working. A lot of your time spent, quality time, so to speak, right? Was working.
Yeah.
So before we get into that though, you said you was at a corporate job first,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was there a point in his entrepreneurial journey while you were still working that you kind of looked at things like they didn't make sense? Like, are you sure you really want to do this, or this isn't kind of working and you might need to?
Well, I was saying no. To me, it was like just hearing him talking about it, what he wanted to do and his goals, like it made sense from the start because he was talking sense.
Right.
He wasn't just like pipe dreams. He was talking sense. He was making moves toward what he wanted. So I'm like, this is a guy who knows what he wants. He's willing to sacrifice for it, and he's putting in work for it. Like, it doesn't not make sense. And if you're gonna do it, now's the time.
Right.
You know. So I would say definitely I didn't have any doubts about what he was doing and whether he could do it. It is just a matter of where, probably was more so the concern, like where's the market for it and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, because the reason I asked that, right, because you have a lot of, excuse me, couples where you have the one person that's the entrepreneur, right? And like I said, you guys are blessed because both of you guys are entrepreneurs. The mindset is totally different.
Right.
But when you have one person that's the entrepreneur and one person that's not, a lot of times there comes some friction there because it's like, hey, I'm working this job.
Mhm.
What I'm doing is making expenses, bringing $100, I'm reaching this goal financially.
Right.
You're saying you want to do this, it's not meeting the goals right now, and I need you to match this right now. And sometimes, as entrepreneurs, you understand that sometimes we miss the goal,
Mm-hmm.
but it all evens out because the next time we far supersede the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to be willing to be able to understand that a lot of the time. So that's why I asked that question. So with that being said, though, great answer. Was there any time for you, Antoine, where you were like, man, it's not quite working in the way I wanted it to work, or did you, she sounds like you had a plan, you stuck to the plan, you worked through the plan
Right.
all the way through. But was there any time in between there that things that ever got kind of rocky where you kind of second guessed what you were doing?
There was never a time when I second guessed myself or what I was doing. However,
Right.
we did encounter a lot of challenges dealing with entrepreneurship as a couple,
Right.
and business, and we have a family, and taking care of a family
Mm-hmm.
in entrepreneurship, and this even before we were married, we were doing this.
Right.
So yes, we definitely had challenges. Things that directly impacted us. Everything in entrepreneurship directly impacts us. The main thing being the income.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're with us in a position of just getting started, we moved down here fresh. We both knew what we wanted to do, how we wanted to attack attack things,
Right.
kind of make things work for us. But there's always, you're not always gonna win in entrepreneurship.
Sure.
Especially just getting started. So there's a learning curve, and with that, I learned some things about her as well.
Right.
And I learned that. That was my ride or die. She wasn't gonna waver. Just as well as I didn't waver. She saw that. It was tough times, but she chose to stick with it, and we fight it, and see it through.
Right.
Make things,
So would you say there ever been a time where the tongue-tied, sorry guys, the entrepreneurial journey really like challenge your relationship?
It could. Yeah, it could. First of all, if you don't, we thank God and all the gods and all the stars that we actually work well. We work well together. Like, I couldn't imagine if we were like clashing personalities. I couldn't imagine if we were, the type of people to like try to one up each other or have those insecurities.
Right.
We're both very like raw and very humble in our journey and our goals. And so we both are very hard workers. Like, we know how to do everything from make the phone calls to get down and basically swap the deck,
Right.
And we share equally in the responsibilities as much as possible. But I can't imagine what would it be like if that wasn't the case. So I could definitely see where being in a relationship and being in business together could get very touchy. Now, I will say that if we do not take the time and really make an effort to spend quality time, adult time, with each other, it can start to get a little all work, no play.
Right. I think we got a visitor, guys. We got a visitor.
A little Afro monster. but yeah, so I definitely would say like times when we're burning the candle at both ends, is that the saying, or kind of like two ships passing in the night.
Right.
It can start get a little touchy, a little irritated, a little. You gotta watch your emotions. You might be a little more sensitive.
Right.
Stuff like that. So it's like definitely trying to make that time to still be a couple and to still be in love and to still be newlyweds and to still be business partners. It's like
that's awesome. That's awesome. You made some awesome points in there. I want to go back and touch on something. You talked about family, right? How is it raising kids as entrepreneurs? You already had kids and brought them into this journey. How difficult or how easy was it? Talk about that a little bit.
It got messy. Yeah, like it's a lot, and if you're not organized, it will show like instantly. I have to say I'm guilty of that. I was guilty of not being as organized and not having the kids be as organized as they probably should have been. Things happen, but I'm sure some things would have run a lot smoother. Organization, communication skills. Mom, I got volleyball today, or I gotta be picked up, or okay, we have to work, that type of thing.
Right.
Because what you don't have with the regular 9 to 5, it's easy to get to not have that structure.
Right.
And kids need structure so much.
Right.
Even with our baby, he didn't have a lot of structure at the first year or so. It was really hectic with trying to work and even trying to get his sleep schedule together. That he was nursing all night long. That he would, I could get him to sleep when I needed him to, but then sometimes, that would mess up his day if he was cranky and stuff. So
dealing with that now.
It's like, okay, the baby's sleeping while I'm working this order, but then when I get home, he's going to get up. He's going to stay up. Then that's gonna mess with my, So I feel like with that's a major thing, trying to have some stability and organization and definitely communication. And then other than that, I would say even with extended family, them not understanding that you won't be able to attend such and such a thing, or the times when we were out of pocket for a lot of entrepreneur stuff, we couldn't afford to run here and there. Some things we couldn't afford, some time-wise. Some things we couldn't afford financially. So it was just really hard to constantly have to explain that to family and friends, and even our kids. Sometimes I just you're gonna get the cheaper version of this. Well, Mama, blah blah blah, but so.
Yeah, I think entrepreneurship. The thing about entrepreneurship is you gotta have long goal in mind, right? You gotta have the vision. As an entrepreneur, you're a visionary. So you see the end game a lot of times, as everybody's looking at the now. And you can get people to just understand, look, we can't do this right now, because we're trying to get here. Now, once we get here, all things are good. But it's just getting to that point. And I mean, even to your point, we got a 4-month-old, right? Empty nesters, it's it's all good. We can do what we need to. We need to move. We were moving. I mean, because even when we started our journey, our girls, which are grown now, we just implemented them into the business. You know what I'm saying? It was like they were old enough, they understood. It was like, hey, I need y'all to be servers.
Right.
And they were right there, they were served, they understood the business, they grew up in it, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's the learning curve for us, because like you said, you have the baby. You gotta eat when you gotta eat. There's no, hold on, wait a minute, we'll go somewhere later.
Right.
When he's ready to eat, he's gonna eat.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing until you feed him. Or, you know, when he needs his, you know, close time, when he needs his nurturing time, you gotta have him. And so it's like, there's been times I'm in the kitchen, I got him strapped to my chest. He's my new little apron. I'm working, you know, you gotta get it done. Does it slow me down? Yes. But I have to do what I gotta do to get both jobs done because, you know, this is where we are. As well as my wife, you know, she's a hairstylist, and so she can't per se take them in with her, so I have to, on my end, you know, I'll keep them, and I just do what I gotta do. You know, I remember not too long ago I had them, it's crazy the things you do, but I ended up having to take them to a business meeting with me. And it just so worked out that another lady in the office, she saw me and I was like, you know what, they're gonna do business with me or not. I got this baby on me, it is what it is. He might seal the deal, right? But it worked out because it was so funny. One of the ladies in there, she was like, oh, I got 11 grandkids, let me hold them while you go in there.
Oh, wow.
And I tell you, I got a little jealous because when I came out, all I heard was this laughter, right? And I ain't heard this boy laugh at all yet. And I'm looking at him like, traitor. But, you know, but it worked out, right? And so I think, you know, like I said, whoever you believe in, but for me, God just, you know, he opens up doors that belong to you. He's gonna open up the way. So it worked out that lady was right there. I felt good about her spirit. I could see her from where I was sitting, so it wasn't no worry ever. And it was just like, okay, cool. And he was having a blast, right? And we sealed the deal. So you definitely do some unconventional things. Your kids get involved. And you know, people have to understand it, especially with families, if you're getting into business. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're running your business, these are the things that you have to think about because it all comes into play. You know, like you said, even to the point of, no, you can't have that right now. And, you know, especially kids, teenagers, they don't understand the fact that, you know, and a lot of times what's crazy is when you tell people you have a business, they think you're a millionaire. Automatically, right? And it's like, no, I made enough to cover the bills this month and keep going a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? It's that time freedom I do have, but it's tight. We're not there yet. So, you know, kids, they don't understand that all the way fully at times. And just as well as you said, family. You know, people want you to come to events or take a time and traveling and all of those things. It's not in the budget. I gotta stick to this budget according to what my business is right now. And going from there. So tell me, like, I'm gonna use this example real quick. So for me, when me and my wife go out to eat, it's very hard because I'll sit there and I break down the plate. And like, I bet this only costs like $2.83 because this is like 50 cents. This is, you know, and they're paying serve 10, so they took that out, and it's like, and she's like, we came to eat.
Why are you doing that?
And I'm like, hey, you gotta understand, like, I know how much I'm being overcharged right now, so it's kind of hit to me. You know, and I've gotten better over the years, right? But with both of you guys being in food, when you go out to eat, either one of you guys do that?
I'll say this. She probably does that a little bit more than I do. But I guess my take on it is and we're also food safety professionals as well. Right. You know, both me and Farah. So I look at things more from a standpoint of everyone's gonna have different offerings and no one's gonna like everything that they taste at every restaurant. You know, so I take that with, okay, you know, I just want the food to come out edible. I want it to come out hot, fresh. No one gets sick when we eat it. That's the most of it for me. If it tastes good, hey, I'm with it. You know, even better. But as long as the food comes out safe for my family to eat, I'm good. You know, Farah. On the other hand, you know,
But no, this is Twan with God. This is lemongrass. This is This is good. Okay, yeah. Like he was like trying to break down recipes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Me, and I'm no jerk about it. Like honestly, I'm not. I don't believe in being like just a jerk for any reason. But it's a little harder for me because I have food service background that dates back to being, when I was a teenager for years and years, serving.
Right.
And so I served through 2 pregnancies. Okay. Through being a teenager, through being a mom of 2 toddlers, and through being a
leave a comment now.
Of 2 toddlers. And it's like, I always say, like, look, if I can do it and keep a smile on my face and have a good attitude and not make my client or my table suffer, then people can do it. So for me, like, bad customer service is really like, like, come on, cause come on. And so like, I'm like, fine. They haven't refilled our drinks like since we've been here. Like, come on. And so he had to cut. I guess probably get used to me, complaining about stuff like that. But it really does when you're being served, when you're serving, and I've been on both ends. Obviously, it really is important, I think, to make the customer feel welcome and valued. And working as a server, I heard the conversations that happened behind and in the door and in the kitchen about how people talked about certain customers. Oh, they're not gonna leave a tip, or and a lot of judgment and a lot of just like nastiness. And so I kind of I know about those types of things, so I'm just kind of really particular about the service that we get.
Absolutely.
And sometimes the food may not be amazing, but if the server goes out of their way to make sure they know we feel welcome and good, then I mean that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, me and my wife, so she has food service background too, because we met on the job. I was a cook, she was a server. But we met on the job, and so no matter where we go, we're gonna leave 25% of that, right? Yeah. Regardless. The lowest you're gonna get is 25%. Right. Your service had to really something to get 25%, right? Right. Because regardless, and it's crazy because you can tell, having the background we have, you can tell when people are already judging. You can tell right away when they already judging. And sometimes when they see the bill, they come back and get the ticket, they're like, I messed up with this one, whatever. And but I'm guilty. And I'll say this myself, I admit on camera I'm guilty. Because I have front of house experience too, and I used to be running front of house as well as back of house. And it's like I'm sitting there and it's like it's been over 30 seconds they haven't greeted the table. It's like 15 seconds and then come back and check to see how the first bite was. Yeah, and I'm like going back through all these things that I used to have to watch my servers, make sure they were doing to get the best possible customer experience. And I'm going, this is like automatically ticking in my mind, so I don't know how to turn it off sometimes. Right. It's like
to like check that.
Right. And I'm like, damn, I know. She's like, me. Focus on me. And I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, baby, I'm sorry. I have to turn it off, right? So I'm guilty, baby. I told the world I'm guilty. But yeah, so sometimes, right, because when you're always in that mindset, right? You're embodied, that's who you are. Sometimes, I say all that to say, sometimes it's hard to turn it off, right? Sometimes it's hard to get out of that role into your personal role, right? And this is where we separate entrepreneurship and a relationship, right? So, even when, a certain way on the job or through your business, you got to carry a certain persona about yourself. Sometimes you'll bring that home, right? And let's talk about how that can affect the relationship. Because you mentioned earlier too, sometimes running, emotions are different, and the way you've been through some stressful situations, you don't even know, and you come home. So what is it like in those times? I guess I'm asking, what do you guys do to kind of help the other person leave that at the door. Like if you see Antoine walk in the door, you can tell, excuse me, he had a rough day. And he's kind of, snappy or, answers the short. And you just know he's had a rough day.
Right.
And he's not really trying to be crazy. It's just the day is getting to him. Like, what are some ways to kind of help, help your spouse leave it at the door and say, hey, you're home now.
Right. Yeah. So definitely you have to be of the mindset yourself.
Right.
You have to give yourself grace in the first place to be like, okay, I know it's almost time for them to come home. Let me take a couple of deep breaths, whatever, today was like, whether it's somebody peed on the floor or you didn't get dinner done like you thought you would or whatever. So you have to give yourself that grace and take a deep breath and release. And so that way, when they come through the door, you don't have tension upon tension.
Right.
Like, I'm like, look, you want a coffee with a couple shots of something? Because I think that's the part of like really knowing your spouse, knowing what they really like, the things that warm them, their heart, really knowing their love language. Like, hey, just so you know, I made you a sandwich, or even if you don't have it right then in that moment, be like, hey, let's go to the movies tomorrow or something. Just kind of thinking proactively, like, what can I do to make sure that we're both good?
Right.
Because it is tough. It's tough at work and it's tough at home. If you have any kids or some responsibilities at home, it's tough out there, and it's tough in here. Even if it's just a matter of boredom and lack of adult conversation and stimulations, like Coco Melon playing all day.
Right.
That messes with you too.
Shout out Coco Melon. That's my boy JJ.
Coco Melon. Y'all wrong for that. I would say that. But it's so there's always going to be kind of something, and just respecting the fact that we're all dealing with something every day. Hopefully we have good days every day.
Right.
But when we don't, we just have to be prepared. Just have to like take a couple deep breaths and be like, see, well, that's it. Like, it's over now. Let's move forward. Let's, make some cookies or something. I don't know.
Right.
That type of thing.
So let me ask you this type of question, right? So how important is it then, would you say, and this, I think this is more so for single people or people in relationships right now, that are traveling down the entrepreneur path. How important is it to evaluate their partner and say, is this person going to be a good fit for me? Because as an entrepreneur, these are some of the things, how important is it to have the right partner for that journey? Because, you can do the journey with anybody.
Right.
Not saying it's going to be easy.
Right.
But how important, because as an entrepreneur, you do need that peace of mind.
Right.
You got no stress on your brain, you got a lot of things. Me personally, I just remember like feeling like, man, life isn't going the way I want it. I got this dream, I'm chasing it. I'm not getting where I want, I'm not where I want to go yet. So then I'm looking at things in my house and my family, and I haven't been able to provide certain things, and you get frustrated. But because I do have a spouse that's like understanding, you'll get it, and it's not always peachy cream, but the understanding is there that I know you're trying, and so she doesn't let me beat up on myself too much. So how important would you say that is?
I'd say it's a very important thing. Because if it's someone you're spending your life with, it's your life partner. You don't want it to be like you're twisting their arm to help you with anything, or vice versa.
Right.
You want to be able to to know that you have someone in your corner that's willing to help you. And this is regardless of whether they're an entrepreneur themselves or not.
Right.
You want to know that they're going to support your every move.
Right.
That's I feel is what the most important thing is. If you're single, and you're dating, because when I met Farah, we were both single. She had a family, I didn't. It was just me. So, I had a lot more things to evaluate, other than just being with her. Just before I even became, just right before I came up the prospect of being an entrepreneur.
Right.
But that was definitely one of them. Is that would this person support me? No matter what my goal is,
Right.
no matter what I decide to do with my life, and that's really the most important thing.
Right.
In that respect, not necessarily just entrepreneurship, but in general.
Right.
So yes, it's definitely important.
Absolutely. I totally agree, man. When you can get that kind of support, you don't understand when you can give a person that kind of support. It almost gives them like superhuman ability because they feel they can face the world. There's so many things out there, so many things you got to fight through and navigate. Trying to close deals, this, that, and third, not under budget yourself and all this stuff just to get jobs. And you fight and navigating when you come home or your place of peace is supposed to be here. How much you really need to be a place of peace. And sometimes you need that person to just kind of just understand. You may not even get it, just be understanding right now. Yeah, most definitely, man. So now I'm gonna get into the good stuff. Now, maybe what was without getting too deep into it, but maybe walk us through a rough time that you guys were able to bring it back together. Maybe things kind of made you clash for a minute, but you were able to bring it back together. Like, how do you walk that out when you have a moment like that? Because sometimes people just don't know, right? I think one of the best pieces of advice I ever got, period, from marriage. This wasn't even entrepreneurship. This is just marriage. Is you guys come back together, take the first 10 minutes to talk about your day. Just sit down, lay everything down. Don't bring in no frustration. Sit down, hold hands, talk about your day. Right? So, but we know, especially in the culinary world, sometimes you're just in the heat of the battle. Right? And things may be said because you need something right now, not going to say it a little snappy. How, if a moment like that happens, how do you not carry that into your relationship? Or if you've had like a time where, I don't know, some couples, I'm guilty, right? Like, I've argued with my wife on the way to doing this. In the car, arguing all the way there.
Yeah.
But when we get there, when the doors open, professional face come on, you never know we're arguing, and boom, we get the event done, we get back in the car, finish it off, right? But while we were there, it was a very professional thing, and not everybody does that though, right? Some people carry that into the event and become very unprofessional, or things happen and it's like, oh my God, you can feel the tension. But like, how can you, or what advice would you give and say, this is how we've been able to do, or some advice to give a couple out there that may go through a situation like that, to kind of be able to bring things back together and not let business or not let personal affect it either or.
Okay. Well, I would say, for me, because I would, hard chime in after I speak my piece. But as long as we understand what we're doing when we're doing it, if it's business first, we want to keep in a space to where we can, at the very least, take care of business before anything. We have to focus and maintain our bearings and offer the exemplary customer service that we are known for.
Right.
We're both service providers in our case.
Right.
And but that will always come first.
Right.
As far and so it's kind of we've dealt with similar things in the past, but you take care of things. You take care of things on your own, not on business time, of course.
Right.
But my thing, to your, kind of to chime off of what you said, I make it a point not to go to bed upset with my wife.
Right.
And so you don't let things fester and move on. You wake up upset because you didn't get a good night of sleep because of when it might have been taking place the day prior or what have you.
Right.
So that's my thing. Is, before you go to bed, make sure you get things squared away.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely, because things can fester and then they become more than they would even ever were.
Right.
That's when your mind starts to wander and you get caught in your thoughts and like circular thinking. So it's like for me, I'm a talker. I'm not normally a talker. I'm like a very laid back person. So I'm told, but when things bother me, I have to talk it out. Like I just have to. I have to talk, and I have to have understanding in the end. In order, even if it's just like oh yeah, okay, I get it, But the that space to talk, like you said, if you're headed to an event, like you can't start nothing that's going to have your like crying and snot,
Right.
like red eyes and just looking crazy, like somebody died. So it's just like what somebody told me more recently was that you do it because I like out of love. You understand what I'm saying? So we know what we're trying to accomplish today. Yes, I'm gonna speak to you about how I feel because I love you. But we're also going to take a second and get this done because we both want this to be wonderful and because I love you. So it's like they taught me that, like, sometimes when you get really upset about something, you kind of get mad at yourself for being so upset. You're like, it's something that's really, really making you mad or making you uncomfortable, or just making you feel some kind of way, as people say.
Right.
But then you can also, if you're like a empath, or a person that feels deeply for the other person, you could even feel bad about feeling bad, right? So, that person, when they told me that everything you do it out of love, right? Even the Bible says, tell the truth in love, right? Then, that kind of helped me. And then also they said, whenever you feel like so deeply about something and you feel bad about feeling bad, stop for a second and remind yourself that you only feel that way because you care. So it's like, if it was somebody you didn't care about, if it was something you didn't care about, I mean, you'd be like mad for a couple minutes or sad or hurt or whatever for a little bit, be like, whatever. So I guess it's like in a sense, honoring that feeling and knowing that it's coming from a place of love and that you want everything to be good between you and yours, but also giving it that space and saying, we got something to do right now. We're a team. We're going to get through this together. And then take the time to take care of us when it's the right time.
Right. So you want to make sure you keep the prioritized goal in place in mind.
Yeah.
At all times, I think it is very important. Do you guys have safe words or use safe phrases? Like if things are kind of getting a little too, like, it's getting a little rough and it's like, pineapple. Pineapple. And just come back to it later, and then that lets everybody know.
We had to get a code word for us because, man, okay, so.
We can't say the code word.
No, not gonna say the code word. I know this, okay, Swan is like, he is just like a very outspoken person. If something bothers him, he can speak on it right away. He's like, yeah, cut that out, Me, not so much. I'm trying to learn to be more like vocal, but I'm usually the person that somebody else says, sorry, why didn't you say such and such a thing? If I were you, I would have said such and such a thing. So it's like, we learned we definitely needed a code word so that when situations got awkward or uncomfortable, mostly for me, I could be like, hey, Twan, any weeny, teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. And you could be like, okay, bet. And we're synced on the same page. I mean, you know, even the fact that two people don't always think alike is a great reason why, if, you know, having a code word helps you get back on the, you know, same page. And definitely we probably could have used the code word years ago. But we just thought about it like a little while ago. So
It's all
yeah,
growth.
it's
It's
cool.
all growth.
Yeah.
So about to close this thing out. So to our listeners out there, I'm gonna ask you for 3 pieces of advice that you would give aspiring entrepreneur couples or couples that are already entrepreneurs, or whether it's one person in a relationship. What are 3 pieces of key advice that you feel are like vital to the health of the relationship in an entrepreneurial setting? What would you say those 3 things are?
Well, I'll say one of them, which is not always easy, but I remember somebody saying that we usually treat the public better than we do people in our household. It's kind of messed up if you think about it, but it's like, it's true. Like, we take the people that we see every day for granted, unfortunately. So it's like, sometimes you have to think like, okay, would I say this to a client? Would I, you know, talk this way to a cashier? Or, you know, if I say, hey, how you doing, to somebody, you know, at the checkout line, even if I'm in a bad mood, then I should be able to do that for the people that I love.
Yeah.
It's not easy, you know. So that's one thing definitely I would say. Just try to, because we all slip up, we're human, but just try to, like, every now and then be like, do I treat my loved ones as good as I treat the people on the street?
Right.
And if not, just throw it in how you can, like, from time to time. Because I don't know who said it, but somebody said, like, we're human. We fail at something every day. Every day we fail at one thing or another. But just don't let it be the same thing every day.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think when you think of that in that perspective, that's really, for me, that's like a wow moment, because you're absolutely right. You know, you talk to that prospective client a lot nicer. Or your client, or like you said, the cashier, anybody else, you get a lot nicer. And then, then you turn around and look at it out, you scouting, whatever. But you just talk to this person you don't know, who may be a serial killer, but you just talk to them very nice as you could, right? Yeah, so.
All your best manners.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. For a second one, I would say to celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins together. I don't care how small the win is, always celebrate it. It means a lot. You know, you're headed, and you know, it lets both of you know that you're headed in the right direction. You know, you want to be able to have it. You know, everything can't be strictly business all the time.
Right.
You know, especially. You know, you spoke about bringing business home. You know, sometimes it happens sometimes, but it's always important to celebrate the good things.
Right.
You know, and you know, it's kind of a decent reminder of why you chose to, kind of take this path with your partner.
Right.
And but definitely, I'd say for a second, you want to celebrate your wins.
Yeah, I think that's important too.
Yeah.
Because, entrepreneurship, you're going to experience some failures. And I do think it's important to celebrate the wins, like you said, no matter how big or small, because that's that positive energy you need to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can lose sight of how many things you've actually done if you don't take the time to celebrate it and remember it. And I mean, you know, just guilty in our own lives, you know, just talking with my wife, and it's like, you know, we've done this, and this. It's like, so why are we down ourselves here? Or why, you know, why don't we remember some of these things because we didn't take the time? You know, just call it the wife, kids, business, deals, whatever.
Yeah.
And we didn't stop to celebrate some things sometimes when we should have made them bigger than what we did. I feel like that's important for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree.
I would say communicate, talk all the time, just constantly. I mean, not to the point of being annoying, like obnoxious, but like just maintaining that line of communication, keeping it open at all times, because sometimes goals change, people mature, adapt. You know, you never want to be under any assumption at any point because you know what that does.
Right.
So just talk, pillow talk, go out to eat and talk, make lists together. What do we want to do? What do we still like? What don't we like anymore? Just communicate and just always try to be on the same page, even if you don't agree. But as far as like what it is. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
definitely I would say communicate, talk some more, communicate and talk.
Right. Make it clear, you know, write these down and be clients for those that really can run. You know, and so really for me, you know, I agree. You have to be on purpose about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you get off focus. When you get off focus, you lose sight of what you're trying to do. And then you step out of that entrepreneurial mindset back into that now mindset. And then, you know, your goals, ambitions, and dreams go out the window for that moment. But that moment could cost you. A lot of times people don't understand, you know, behaving in the moment can cost you your future. I mean, we see it all the time with incarceration and stuff like that. But, you know, business is the same way. Because you never know who you're dealing with or who is seeing you in an unlikely light at the moment. I'm like, I don't know. That person could have been the person to open that next door for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I would never do business with that person.
Right.
And you know, it's gatekeepers is what I call them. It's gatekeepers out there that see you, or you know, they may hear about you, but when they see you, if you're not what they're looking for, or you're not behaving, is what you know was brought to them. Shut their door.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think those are 3 great pieces of advice to our entrepreneurs out there, and inspire entrepreneurs. So I hope this blessed you guys. We're going to bring this thing to a close, and then make sure, hit that like button, hit the notification bell, right? Hit the thumbs up, right? And share it as well, and let some people know that we are here at 6 Foot Cook Radio. And on next week, we're going to have another couple. We're going to talk about love and entrepreneurship some more. So make sure you tune in. We look forward to seeing you again. And thank you guys so much. Oh, before we go, I'm tripping, right? You know, I'm tripping. I'm supposed to. So, hey, tell our viewers how they can find you guys. If you ever know how to listen, I'm telling you for sure. True Joy Bakery is it. Cakes, desserts. You know, I'm a sweet guy. I'm telling you that is it. The main man here, Artistic Soul. So tell them how they can find you in the business.
Sure, yeah. True Joy Bakery. TrueJoyBakery.com. IG, Facebook, Twitter, everything at True Joy Bakery. One word, of course. Artistic Soul Catering.
Yeah.
ArtisticSoulCatering.com.
Yeah.
IG, Facebook.
Everything.
Yeah. 404-574-9959 or
404-983-0210.
And also, don't be shy now. Look, you need your service safety done.
Yes.
People to call.
Yes, we're both food safety professionals. We can also be reached at the same phone number, 404-983-0210, with Culinary Commerce Consultants. You can be reached there.
Don't get caught slipping without your current serve safe.
Right.
It's not worth it. Just get everybody serve safe.
That's right. That's
We'll
right.
teach you.
That's right.
You
Get
should.
mine. So I'm good. All right, man. Guys, it was a pleasure. Appreciate you guys, man. We will see you all next week. Make sure to tune in. Peace.
All right.